I wanted to do a reply of this here. This link was shared with me by the Illusions Over yesterday, and I appreciate him sharing it with me. And I watched this and checked into it. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I think it's a valid effort. At least somebody's finally doing something. At least some people are standing together to try to fight back in whatever ways they can. But as much as I like seeing this, I'm going to give my opinion. It'll go nowhere at the end. And the reason I'm going to say this will absolutely not work and go nowhere is because what these people that are putting this together don't understand is that powers to be have already bought and owned the courts pretty much globally and the justice system, and when it comes right down to it, they watch and cover their own backs. The powers to be do, and you can take on YouTube, Google, the largest union in the world takes on giant Google, but you got corruption in the courts globally. You have judges and lawyers that won't even touch this case, and they want lawyers that will touch it. You've got judges and people that are biased that ain't going to allow this to happen. One of the complaints I heard is they want fairness and that YouTube's turning into a TV. And anybody that would have paid attention from the very beginning when Google first took ownership over YouTube, they said it after they took over, that their end goal was to turn YouTube into a television set. The online TV, and that's exactly what they're doing. What they said they were going to do. See, eventually I don't see even myself or any of us being able to make personal videos up on YouTube anymore. And for the people complaining about their income, monetary gain, making their living off making videos on YouTube and monetizing their channel and on, I've heard of this. You might as well get used to that. That monetization that you saw going on and people being allowed to make a living off of Google and YouTube, that was done deliberately to help it grow and to keep your eyes turned the other way and to allow Google to be able to advance forward without anybody really putting a stop to it. But you're at a point in time now where courts are pretty much globally have been taken and owned. They're controlled by the powers to be. Just like the justice system is. Just like everything else in society is. And when you want to say the largest union in the world is taking on the giant, they don't realize that this giant's connected clear to the top. This giant owns the monetary systems. The money will never run out because they own the monetary systems and they can print as much as it takes to fight back. And because they already own judges and courts pretty much globally, your chances of getting into a courtroom where you're not going to be affected are very slim. Very slim. I would actually be impressed if they actually make some changes. Now, they might slow them down. There might be some good that come out of this that they'll slow them down. They'll change a few things and maybe Google will have to back off a little bit, but it's not going to stop what's going on in society. Maybe you'll get some phony monetary gain back. Maybe you'll be allowed to go ahead and make money off of YouTube again, right? So what? It's printed out of thin air. There ain't nothing backing it. These people just punch numbers on the keyboard. Monetary gain worldwide is worth as much as toilet paper is. The only reason money has any value is because we, the people of this world, puts value on it. But we, the people of this world, have allowed private entities, families, to control and own the monetary system, which they have used to put us where we're at today. It's always been used as a weapon against you, for their own gain, for their own thievery. Even in World War I and World War II, these same entities financed both sides of the war, profited at the end of the war by taking land, property, and wealth away from people. For themselves, for more control, more power. Now, it wasn't accidentally passed over to Google. And they're not going to let somebody come in and do this. And I don't care how big of this largest union is. And how many attorneys you have on your side. You actually believe you have justice and people upholding laws. No, the laws that are made don't apply to these people. They never have, because we don't make them apply to them. They only apply to us, the simps, the serfs, the slaves. They made them laws to enslave us. And you're not going to use what they created to enslave us against them. You watch and see if this don't get turned upside down on its head. Now, maybe if you get enough fighting and enough controversy over it and can get enough publicity, but you're going to have to do it worldwide. Google's branched out of the United States, out of Silicon Valley, with all the other corporate giants. They're being controlled by the same freaking entity that's done this to the entire globe. It's not an accident that every year, when the president has the State of the Union address here in America, that everything's talked about internationally. That's no accident. Don't you get it? You know, it's no different when our agent Monday Forever on Monday did his little rant on premature births and incel and read that new article to you, and it had all them countries listed with the same problem in the manosphere going on in all these countries. Do you think that list of countries he read off was an accident? What do you people think, that the world's always been this way? You're out to lunch. We have never always been this bad. Now, we've always had this entity called the powers to be that have passed their wealth and their power down to their children, to their children, to their children, and bred and raised their children to take their place. Over and over and over again. That's why the same family bloodlines, and you want to use the word bloodline, gives them the status of being gods, are ball of us. No, it doesn't. Their blood don't mean crap to me. Their blood shouldn't have meant crap to anybody else, neither. See, what meant anything would have been what Mark Pascal talks about, natural law. True freedom. True independence. Natural law. And care. Our ability to care about one another as much as we care about ourselves. But none of you want to hear that, because you're enjoying your psychopathic, sick, messed up world full of nothing but psychopaths and selfishness. And everything's a game, a sport, a competition, an arena. You're all enjoying your division so bad that when somebody tells you the truth, you become offended. Your little feelers get hurt when you hear truth. So you want to think it's okay to lie, and you know how normal they've made it for lying? That nothing can be believed anymore. But yet all you psychopaths that think you're not a psychopath, while you're out here lying, you don't want to be lied to. I'm sorry. When it's okay for you to lie to others, but you don't want to be lied to yourself, you're a psychopath. You're a nut job. And I don't care what you think of me saying that. That is the fact. And if you don't like being called that, well, that's not my problem. That's yours. Maybe you should have used that thing called a brain that's in your head. Now, I think this is a great idea, but the problem is see, we have to tackle the people that are above this giant right here. Because the people that are above it that are actually controlling this, the powers to be at the top, they're going to stand up for this giant. And they own the monetary systems. And they've already bought off enough court, the justice system a long time ago, pretty much in every country across the globe. And you hear them talking about in this video over in Germany that we're going to have to do the same thing here in America that they're doing over there for this to work. Well, you already know that's not going to happen. And you already know Google's based out of the United States. Sure, they have branches all over the world. I don't see this going anywhere, and I hate to say that, I really do. I would love to see this go somewhere, but I don't see it going nowhere. You know, about 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8 years now, we had a 1 million man march on Washington here in the States. That's right, in Maryland, Washington, D.C., on our capital. A 1 million man march, 1 million people, men and women all showed up and marched against the corruption and the war to stop it. Well, here's what happened. 1 million people marched on Washington, and all forms of major media was shut down and not allowed to report on it. And didn't report on it either. And the only reason it got noticed from people that were there, who was videotaping and putting it up on YouTube online for people to see. And guess where that went? Absolutely nowhere. Not one thing changed. 1 million people stood up and not one thing changed here in the United States. There was just a big waste of time. And the reason it's a big waste of time is because of the mentality of people. You want to believe the world's always been this way. And we've had this corruption for as far back as I can go, but the reason this corruption's always gotten by with it is because they stayed hid from the public. And they used patsies to take the falls for them. Let's go back to World War II, Adolf Hitler, Nazi Germany. Yeah, he was a bad man, but he wasn't the one behind it. It was never his idea. He was following the orders from his bosses, which is the same people that all these governments are following the orders from around the world. And the ones that ain't following the orders, well, that's the ones we're fighting, isn't it? Why do you think we're really in Iraq? You know, Iran. Why do you think we're over across the sea still in the Middle East? And why do you think they keep pushing this stuff about Iran? Because when you do get some leadership in a country that don't agree or comply with the orders from the powers to be, we attack them. And we attack them, and we attack them, and we go to war with them to take them people out of position. That's why the war's never ended. When it ends is because they've got control of every government worldwide. They pretty much have that already. You know, so here's Germany, who already has a corrupt government, who's already in bed. The people running Germany are already in bed with the elite. They've already been in bed for years with the elite. You know, it was America that helped Germany during that war. And it was America who, through Operation Paperclip, brought their scientists and stuff over and gave you NASA. And who hid Hitler from the public? The elite in America. But you don't want to pay attention when people tell you the truth. You want to say you're nuts. You want to call the people who are telling you the truth nut jobs. So you're the reason it's as bad as it is. We, the people of this world that keep turning our heads and looking the other way and hurling insults and yelling conspiracy theory, are the ones that are complicit with the behavior that's going on. The reason we're in the shape we are is because of you. That's right, all you idiots. You know, and it just makes me sick how stupid people have become. Now, I think this is a good thing, but it ain't going to go nowhere. You watch and see if this goes anywhere. I'll be impressed as all hell if we manage to change anything with Google. I don't think you're going to. I really don't. See, then you're going to have this largest union in the world that takes on the giant. But the problem is the giant has the elite behind it. They have crooked attorneys and judges and courtrooms around the world on their side that have already sold out their people. So chances of this going anywhere are slim. I think you're going to fight. You're going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time just to wind up appealing the decision. And then you're going to fight and spend a lot of money and time to appeal the decision. And I think if you get too close to making an effect, you're going to find people in positions that are making that effect suddenly having an accident. Suddenly coming up missing or dying. And there'll be some BS like what happened with David Carradine. It'll be a BS story. It'll be a complete fraudulent story to how they died. Like with Princess Diana. They'll lie to you. Like they always do. So no, I personally don't think this is going to go anywhere. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I'm not faulting their idea because at least finally somebody's trying to do something. But I think you're tackling it from the wrong end. See, this largest union in the world needs to be coming from all over the world. You know, and in here they clearly say we got to do the same thing in the United States. Well, see, this needs to come from all over the world. And you need to have all the people that are awake behind this. And you don't need to be going after Google. You need to be going after the people above Google. You know, a good start would be when you start going after people like the Rothschild dynasty. And the Rockefellers. And the corporations. Yeah. Now, I know that sounds nuts, but this is where you got to go. Okay, well, you're going to say, well, but Google is a corporation. But you got to go a lot more than Google. See, the complaints I'm hearing, you know, one that fires me up is the fact that are making our living. All of us YouTubers that was making our living off of monetary gain from Google, from YouTube. And they demonetizing and removing your channels. Well, of course they are. They told you years ago they were going to turn it into a TV. Do you think they're going to actually allow people like myself or any of you people that are making videos, content producers, to continue to make content on YouTube? No, that time's running out for you too. And you're all going to have to move to other sites that are still controlled by the same people. They're still going to be attacking you and shutting you up. Because you're not willing to fight back. Because you're enjoying your division. You're enjoying your enslavement. And most people are so dumb they don't even know they're slaves. And the ones that are aware they are sitting there, well, what can we do about it? Well, they can't do nothing about it. And they got that mentality. They already threw in the white towel, man. They threw in the towel without even a fight. You know, the people that did fight for what rights we have would be doing what the people in today's world is doing, you'd have never had the rights you have right now. At least back in the day, people had balls. And they stood up and they stood together. You know, that's the biggest fear the elite have, is that the people of this world come together and rise up for the same cause. See, this is a great idea, but it's still not big enough and it's not for the right cause. Because what are you doing? You're complaining about monetary gain. Really? Why, you're going to allow the very people that own the monetary around this world to continue to own it? Okay, so maybe you'll get lucky and slow them down, but you won't stop them. And that's only if you're lucky. You're just still going to lose it. So why would you want to fight to get something back you're just going to lose a few years later again and never get it back? So you got to start going after your real enemy. I understand how corrupt Google is. And I understand what you're saying, but you're not going after your real enemy. No, you're not. You got to start going after your real enemy. And I threw a couple hints at you. If you want to do anything that's going to be establishable to change anything in this world, then you need to start going after the people who own and control the monetary systems in every country around the world. There's your starting point. Yeah, because what do they use to control everybody globally? Monetary. Because without monetary, you can't live in a roof, you can't have a roof over your head, you can't buy food, you can't do anything. You're controlled by that monetary system. And what do we hear the complaints in this video being about? The fact that they unmonetized your channel, the fact that you're not making your living or monetary from the real criminals off of YouTube no more, Google. And I don't care if Google's in Germany or not. It's still the same damn thing. You know, you're saying you're fighting for fairness. Well, if we wanted fair in this world, we wouldn't be in the shape we are. Too many people want to be above other people. Too many people want to look down on somebody else and use a man-made thing called money to think they're above somebody else. From the very bottom to the lowest life level people, clear to the top, this is an epidemic. It's a sickness. And you hear it loud and clear in this video. These people bitching about not making that money. For fairness on Google. You're nuts. You've lost your mind. What you got to start with is going after the people who own and control the monetary systems and removing them from the position they're in. And the money in the monetary system needs to be taken away from them and put in the hands of the people of the nations. That's right. Of the people. Then that has to be finally controlled. And I mean finally controlled. You have to take random people. Not just anybody, because if you start taking, well, let's make an election for the people who's going to run it in your country for so long, corruption's going to step in, and they're going to get their hands right back on it again. It has to be randomly chosen by the public. You just have to pick John Does out of nowhere. Nobody's. And not tell people who they are until they're already placed up. And then they can only be there so long. And they have to be monitored by all the people. And the first time they steer a different direction what the people say, they're out immediately. No ifs or ands. They're out. And they're replaced immediately, randomly again. It's the only way you're going to stop infiltration and corruption. You can't have people making more than other people and looking down on other people. You want fair, then fair has to be fair straight across the board. There is no such thing as somebody's richer than somebody else and looking down on other people. That mentality has to go away. So what I'm saying here is simple. Watch and see. This ain't going to go nowhere. And the main reason it won't go nowhere is because, one more time, you're not attacking your enemy. I understand Google's very corrupt and you say, yes, I am. But until you attack the people who actually own the monetary systems and take it away from them, you cannot change corporations. See, you have to go after the root again. What did I always say? The root cause. Now, we don't know who's at the very top of the pyramid, but we do know that the Rothschild dynasty is right up towards the very top. You go after the root. When you go after the root and take that root away from, you start taking power away from that's being used to control us all. Then you can affect Google, the giant. Gotta admit it where it counts. And you're not going to do it by just attacking Google. Because Google is following their orders from people at the top. It's just like here in the U.S., Federal Reserve, privately owned. Yes, there is. It's owned by the Rothschild dynasty. I don't know why you don't get it. Why you don't understand is just beyond me. I know who we have to attack and where we got to go. If we're ever going to make a change. And until that happens, you're not going to make a change. What are you going to do? Slow them down so that you can just lose it all again? How about just going after the root cause? That's one of the things that got John F. Kennedy killed. It's because he wanted to take the monetary system in the United States back away from and put it back in the hands of the people. That is one of the major things that got him dead. It wasn't just the secret societies. It's the fact that he was going to take the monetary system and give it back to the people. Well, the monetary system needs to be given back to the people in every single country across the world. And to be put in the people's hands. And it needs to be set in order so that it could be so finely controlled that not one private entity could ever get their hands on it ever again. And the first time somebody tries, they're immediately caught and locked up. Now, I know that sounds sad, but that is the truth. So, no, I don't see this going nowhere. Because until you go after your real enemy, you're not going to change nothing. They told you years ago when they took over YouTube, they were going to turn it into a TV. And the day's coming where they won't even allow videos from none of us up here. It will be your TV. And you're whining about that and whining about your loss of money, monetary. Well, how about going after the people that should have never owned the monetary to begin with globally? How about taking it back away from them? And for every single country, put it back in the hands of the people. How about starting with your real enemy? Because that's the only way you're ever going to take control of anything. You get the monetary systems taken back and put in the hands of the people, and all the corporations will fold. Because they're counting on that monetary. You now bring corporations to their knees, including Google. All of your corporations. See, you've got to start with your enemy. You don't start down here below your enemy and expect to get anywhere. You're only allowing it to continue. With that being said, there's my opinion. I'm not cutting them down for what they're trying, but the problem is once again, you're not going after your enemy. So how are you going to change anything? You're not. You might slow them down, but it's just going to keep running going, and you'll be right back to where you're at right now in a few years from now, if you can get lucky, and that's if you can get lucky enough to slow them down. And you'll be right back to where you're already at. Why? Because you never went after your real enemy. That's why.